All right. First, let me see in the chat. Can anyone hear me? Am I good? Is the audio good? Let's remove this real quick. All right. Got about 2 more minutes here. You are good. Yes, you can hear me. Okay. I'll give it about 2 more minutes and then I'll get started. All right. All right. So today what I'm going to be doing is going over spreadsheets, okay, and how to use them. There's a lot of different ways to use spreadsheets in packages. Today I'll probably be going over 1 or 2 ways to use them. The theme, I mean, with spreadsheets is the same. You know, you've got lots of data, rows of data, and you want to do things with that data, right? And the other thing that I wanted to also touch on in this live is sending data to WordPress. Okay, so we'll be using packages to read a spreadsheet and then do something with the data that we get and then send that to WordPress. Okay, and again, just like the other live, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them and stop me, and I'll be glad to answer your question. So without further ado, let's jump right into it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new package, okay? Let's just call this CSV to WordPress, okay? Takes a CSV and does stuff and then posts something to WordPress, okay? So the first thing we'll have to do here is we'll need an input, okay? So with this package, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be uploading a CSV file. And in that CSV file, I will have data that I'll use to construct a WordPress post, okay? So we'll call this CSV file. So let's see. So Philip's question is, will this be similar then to work with Airtable or base row? So I guess in this example, I'm just using CSVs. Those tools that you mentioned, so Airtable, like they may have webhooks that let you run stuff when you change a row, and you could probably hook that into packages. That could be a great live where we do Airtable. But for now, I'm just focusing on CSV files, which can work similarly. Okay, so we've got this input file, and this is going to be our CSV, okay? I'm going to also add a finish node here. So the first thing you want to do when working with CSVs or anything, the approach that I like to take when building packages is to do things step by step. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you spent like an hour building the perfect package and then you finally run it and it doesn't do what you want, and then then you don't know where to troubleshoot. So the first thing I'm going to do is add this input. Then I'm going to, what do I want to do next? Let's just add a plain text node here. And I just want to make sure that my data is coming in, okay? So we've got a plain text node CSV file. I'm going to add one more node, which is to, let's see here, the CSV node. And this is the node that will actually process the CSV file. So for the input, we're going to change the input type to file, upload, sorry. And then what is the file type for CSV? I think it's, let me see here. What's the MIME type for CSV? All right, that's what I thought. All right. So we've got text.csv, all right. And then in this CSV node, for packages to understand that it's working with a CSV, we need to tag the CSV file input. Okay, this is the CSV file that we want to load. So we'll load it there. And then this node right here is going to represent one row. Okay. And you'll see how this makes sense later on. The CSV that I'm going to use is this one. Okay, so this is the format of the CSV. All it has is a title. Okay, and these are going to be blog post titles. All right. So we've got just random titles that I got from ChatGPT: 10 tips for mastering remote work, the ultimate guide to sustainable living. Just random topics that we're going to make blog posts for. Okay. Now. We've got our CSV node. Okay, we've got our CSV input. Now, what we're going to do, and we're just going to test now. Okay, we're going to make sure that the CSV data is coming through. Okay, so the column name here is title. Okay, in the CSV node, we're going to add a JSON key that's called title. Okay, and this will let us reference the title throughout the package. Okay. So in this node, let's see, let's call this test CSV. In this node, we're just going to put at title. So one row.title. Okay. This should give us the title of the row. All right. In the CSV file. Okay. So now that that's done, in our template, we can just put test CSV. Yeah, we're going to tag test CSV. We're going to tag this node. Okay. And for the file name, let's just call it one row.title. Okay. And then the last step before we dig into creating prompts and sending it to WordPress, we need to fill out this matchup steps field and assign it to one row. Okay. And what matchup steps does, if anyone doesn't know, is it's really needed for CSVs or looping in any way. And that just keeps the data in those nodes together. Okay. We're going to add more nodes in the future in a little bit. And it's important that we add this matchup step, because if we don't, then what happens is packages is going to try and combine and make all these different combinations, and it's not going to keep the data together. It's not going to keep everything that's part of that row together. So it's important that we have this one row step, matchup step. Okay. Now we can finally run this test package here, and I'm going to save this as a CSV. All right. And I'm going to run this package, and I'm going to give it this CSV here. All right, so we're going to run this now, and it ran. All right, so this is what happens when you don't do the matchup steps correctly. You get a bunch of stuff back. It's working, but I just need to add the matchup step on the finish node. So let's go one row. Let's run it again. And now that looks good. Okay. So, so this looks right. We've got our title coming through on each row in the CSV. Okay. And this is like the first step to getting CSVs to work in packages. Okay. So we've got our title that's coming through. So now I think the next step is going to be to use LLM to write the article. Okay. And for the purposes of this live, I'll make the prompt for that LLM node really simple. Okay. And you can kind of understand how it works and use it for yourself and make a better prompt for whatever your use case is. Okay. But now I've added this new node, and this new node is GPT-4 mini LLM node. So I'm going to write a prompt, and in that prompt, I'm going to reference the the name of the title that we got in the CSV. Okay, so if you're following along, the first step is we're getting one row from the CSV. This step we probably don't need anymore. This is just a test to make sure the title is coming through. And this is going to be our LLM node where we're going to actually write the article. Okay, so let's call this an article. All right, article. And then let's not forget our matchup step, which should be one row. Okay, that's this. We want to keep all the one row, each row together. And then in the prompt, we're going to say, write a 200-word article about the given title. And then the title is going to be at one row.title, since we called that out on the JSON key. And then we just write article. Okay, and this should create our article. Okay, let's see here. And now in the finished template, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference that article. Okay, so let's see. I don't think we need that anymore. Perfect. So the format's going to be, let's make it HTML. And this, we're going to change it to, so yeah. So what I've done here is I've forced the GPT node to convert the markdown that we get back from, or the code that we get back from ChatGPT, convert it to HTML. Okay, and then in the end result, we're going to have HTML. Okay, so now if I run this package, what's going to happen? It's going to do what it did before, which is get each row and dedicate a node to each row. But instead, what we're going to get now is we're going to get a full-blown article because we've added this node, and ChatGPT is going to write that article. So this will take a little bit longer, but not too much longer. And there, it's written the 5 articles. So now if we go back, go into each article, we'll have, it's cut off since we need to make this longer, but yeah, it made the article. So let's do it again. Let's run this package again. And right. Perfect. So now we have full-blown articles. And again, keep in mind, you would probably want a better prompt, or you could format this better to your liking, whatever your use case is. But this is just a very simple example. Okay. So we've got our 5 articles here. Okay. Very simple articles. So the next and final step for sending this to WordPress is to use a package that actually will send this data to WordPress. Okay. So there's a package for that. So I'm going to right click and go to package. And then I'm going to look for WordPress, push to WordPress v2. Okay, this one is the better version of pushing to WordPress. Okay, so the domain for this is going to be this one. This is my local WordPress that I use for testing. Let's connect these two here. Let's call this push to WordPress. All right. The title for the post is going to be, let's go with tests, one row.title. Okay. The content is going to be article. And then the status is going to be publish. Okay. So we want to publish this immediately. We don't want to put it to, if you wanted to make it a draft, you could put draft here. If you wanted it to show up in the future, you could put future, but we're going to put publish for it to be published immediately. Okay. So the last step here is to actually go to the keys page, and we're going to want to add WordPress as a key here. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to head to our WordPress installation, and we're going to go to users. You're going to find your account, and then you're going to create a new application password. Okay. I'm just going to call this one 126 live. All right. You can call it whatever you want, but that's going to be my password. Okay. So let's change this one to basic auth. That's what we need for WordPress. The username is going to be our username in WordPress, and the password is going to be what we it's going to be this one. Now the domain is going to be this, or it's going to be your WordPress domain, and then we're going to say 126 live WordPress key. All right, so now we save that, and let's go back to our package. All right, so what I want to do here is I actually want to test and make sure that the WordPress is working. So I'm going to bypass these two nodes real quick, just skip through them, and then I'm just going to run this package. Okay. Let's see, testing. All right. So we got to make sure that we add our key here, and make sure there's no other keys on. And then we're going to run that. All right. And it's done. So now if we go to WordPress and go to posts, perfect, they're there. Okay. So it made it to WordPress. These are it's just gonna have testing because we bypassed the article node. Okay. We bypassed these two nodes, so it didn't write the article, but now since we know WordPress is working, we're going to delete these articles, and then we're going to turn them back on. We're going to run this again, article. All right. So, perfect. So now I'm just going to run this, and let's see if it actually writes our articles and puts them on WordPress. Okay. Shouldn't take too long. Perfect. So if we look here, we should have 5, okay, or a lot more new articles. So again, this is the issue. We need to add our matchup steps. Forgot to add that there. One row. So let's move that to trash again. Yeah, so we got a lot more that we asked for because I didn't add the matchup steps. Okay. So let's run this one more time. And now it should be exactly the way we want it to be. Let me know if you guys have any questions up to now. Because now I'm gonna answer your questions and maybe tweak the package or do things based on what you guys say. So like, I think you guys understand that. Yeah. Let me go here. You guys understand that now I took the things in this spreadsheet, right? Fed it to packages, did some things, ran some LLMs, and then pushed it to WordPress. Okay. So let's see here. So yeah, now we've got our article and it's formatted and looks great. But I just wanted to know if you guys had any questions about this before I do something else related to CSVs and packages. So yeah, let's see if anyone has any questions. No questions yet. Thanks for the email announcement. No problem. Hello all. Hello. All right. Okay, that is so cool. I would love to see how to add an image and a Pinterest image. Okay. Uh yeah, so let's see how to add an image. Now, what do you mean by Pinterest image? You wanted to go to Pinterest and find an image, or what do you mean by that? Uh, I can do add an image. Yeah, we can use what options do we have for images? I think there's a package for Flux, so we can do that. Let's see here. So that's a good one. Let's add an image to these articles. Okay. Um, I'm gonna use a package here. Flux. I think we've got Flux by custom dimensions. Okay. Let me see. Let's make the width 1,000 and the height 500. So what I'm doing here is I'm using Flux to create an image for each post. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So featured image and a pin size image so that people can share the article on Pinterest. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Flux to create an image. Flux is just an AI image generator. You've got so many these days. There's DALL-E 3, there's Flux, there's Ideogram, a lot of different ones, but I'm going to use Flux here. So where should we connect this? So this should happen after we've got our row. Okay. So we don't really need to wait on the article to get it done. So this can run in parallel with the article. And then we're going to connect it back to the push to WordPress package. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we need to come up with a prompt. Okay. So I'll actually let ChatGPT come up with the prompt for us. I'm going to create a new LLM node. I'm going to actually do this. And then we'll just call this node prompt for image. And let's go ahead and add a one row. That's the matchup step. It's one thing I've been missing today. All right, so we want to generate the prompt for the image for this, okay? And that's just writing another prompt. We're all good at prompts. So this prompt will be given a blog post title, come up with a prompt for an image that would work at the header image, okay? So we'll say blog post title, and then this one is going to be one row dot title, and then we're just going to want it to give us a prompt. Okay, image prompt, and this is going to be our image prompt. Let's just increase the tokens just a little bit, and now we're in our package. Okay, so in our package for generating the image, what we're going to put here is we're going to put let's call it image URL. Okay, and then our prompt is going to be prompt for image. All right. So this should give us, let me drill into this package real quick. Oh, it actually does give us the image tag already. Okay. So in theory, all we have to do is just, so this is not a URL, this is an image tag. You should just be able to do this, and then it will have an image at the top of the post. Okay, so let's delete these old posts in WordPress. Bulk options. All right, so I'm going to tweak this package so it doesn't take too long to make. And I'm going to I'm going to tweak the CSV, and I'm just going to have 2 items. Okay. So let's export this CSV and let's run it with 2 items. Okay. Right. So we've got our new CSV running our package. This one might take a little longer because of the images. I think it takes about 10 seconds to make each image. So let's see if we get back an article with an image at the top. All right. I don't know what the dimensions are for Pinterest, but you could follow this same pattern to get a perfect image for Pinterest. All right, so let's see. Yeah, this is going to take some time. All right. All right, just hang on for a second. All right, so that finished. Let's reload here. We've got 2 new posts, and each of them have an image at the top. So that's a nice image. The Ultimate Guide to Sustainable Living. We've got this cool little image at the top. Gives the article some personality. That's cool. And then let's look at this. All right, you've got a desk, and it's cool. All right, so yeah, that is how you would add an image to the top of your post. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody have any other questions? Anybody want to make this package a little better by recommending something to add? Let me know. But yeah, that's in a nutshell how to use CSVs with packages. Now, I'm going to show you another way to use CSVs. Okay, there's actually, I think, three. Okay, Pinterest image size is 1,000 by 1,500, from what I can tell. Yeah, so then all you'd have to do is just use this package and then change those dimensions, and you'd be good. But yeah, there's. Okay, so Carlos says, can you please briefly explain this application? I came late. Okay, so this is packages. Packages is, a tool to run automations. Okay. A lot of people use it to do browser automation. So think of this as a tool to automate a lot of different things. It's not just limited to browsers, but you can automate things in the browser, and you can chain it together with like ChatGPT to do what we're doing now, which is automating WordPress posts. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. I'd watch the videos on YouTube or look at the Facebook group to see what folks are building. So we have another question. I always have my post title on the featured image. Is this asking too much? So you want to add text to the image? Is that the question? Or where do you want that post title to live? Do you want it to be baked into the image? Because if you do, then that's probably it's possible with packages. You just have to find a service that will add the image add the text onto the image. But if you wanted it to be like a alt tag or a title tag, that can happen. Text, not AI generated. Okay. Yeah. Google Slides does it. Okay. Yeah, we can probably get a package in there that adds that. So, all right, what do we want to do here? So yeah, like I was saying, 3 ways to work with sheets, okay, or spreadsheets in any way. You can upload a raw CSV file like we did here, okay. You can, the other thing you can do is with a spreadsheet like this, you can make it, let's see, I forgot how you do it, but you can publish it and then you'd get a link that is, you get a link that you can use in packages, right? So this is, let's see, the CSV here. So another way that we can use CSVs is instead of uploading the CSV all the time, right? We can make I'm going to duplicate this package right now. CSV to WordPress, fetching from Google. So what this will do is instead of uploading a CSV file all the time, what we can do is we can remove this input, okay? And then what we can do is we can, I think we have a node to download. Let me see, where is that node? Files, download file, okay? And what we can do here is we can actually point it to the file, okay? So this will download the CSV file in its current state, okay? And then we can pass that here. And then what this will do is instead of having to upload a CSV all the time, we can make our tweaks here in the CSV file. And then whenever we want, we can just run it and it'll fetch that CSV file from Google without us uploading it, okay? So that's a different way to use CSVs. It's the same thing, but it's just slightly different. And then, yeah, it's probably better to create a separate package, just pull it into this one. Yeah, that's the right way to do it, yeah. Yeah. All right, so Carlos asks, is this app in beta? What's the price? Okay, so there's a lifetime deal going on right now, where it's $159 per code. But once the lifetime deal is over, it's going to be like $49 a month. And yeah, this app is in active development. So I mean, a lot has changed and a lot has been added since it was released, like in June or July of last year. But yeah, okay. What's a code? Yeah, so let me see. So I don't know if you're familiar with lifetime deals, but a code is essentially just a redemption code. So one code gets you, if I remember correctly, 600 credits a month, and 3. If I don't remember, it's on the deal page. I can share it later. But yeah, one code is basically just one lifetime deal code, which gets you a certain amount of privileges in the app. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here's the link. I'll send it in the chat. Hopefully it'll make it. Yeah. So anyone have any other questions? I do want to do the image where, do the package where it has a image overlay, text overlay on the image, but that will probably take too long and I'll probably do that later and after this wraps up. But yeah, I do want to know if anybody wants to like extend this package in a way that's simple and that can be done like we did now, where we just added an image. And again, this package will be, I'll make it clonable. I'll do that now, actually. So you guys can tweak it to your liking. But yeah, anybody have any questions? She says, thanks for all your hard work on this app. No problem. I want you guys. There's a lot coming. All right, there's a lot in the pipeline. I don't know if you guys saw the recent announcement by OpenAI, but they're releasing this thing called Operator, which is a lot like the browser node in packages. So I think the world is going to start to understand the value of automation, and especially browser automation. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things coming out. A few social media captions to promote the post. Okay, so yeah, this next question is, how about adding a few social media captions to promote the post? So let's see here. Would you want those are you asking for this package to promote on social media as well? So like, you create the post, and in this package, it'll actually send to social media. Let me know what you mean by social media captions. Let's see. Oh, maybe within this. Okay. I think I understand what you mean. So how would I do this? We've got our article, we've got our title, right? If we wanted to extend this package to include social media captions or social media posts, let's see. I'll clone this and say with social media captions. Okay. So we've got our article. Yeah, I would never do this automatically. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Let's see here. How would I do this? So you can do this, and especially it's great that you mentioned the part where you say you wouldn't do this without human editing, because yeah, I think that's where we're at now with AI. Like, it can do all these things, and we want it to be automated, but we want to have like a human in the loop. We want to review what goes out before it actually goes out. So one thing I would do is, let's see here. I wish this could give us the URL so that we could easily share it, but let's see here. We can add a LLM node here, okay, after we publish, and then we can say create a social media caption, okay? So at this point, we're going to have our article, okay, and we're going to have our title. So we could, in theory, just send all that over and say, come up with a social media caption. So that just becomes, yeah, let's do matchup step of one row. All right, so our prompt then becomes, given an article and a title, write a short social media caption. A short social media caption. Okay. And let's say title is going to be one row. Title. Article is going to be article. And then we've got short social media caption. Write a short, engaging. All right. So yeah, this should write our social media caption. Okay. And then what do we want to do here? We can just run it and see what it looks like. I'm going to bypass the image though, because that takes a long time. And then let's see what we got here. I'm gonna remove this. Yeah, I'm just going to remove the image because it takes a while to run. And then we've got our short caption here. Okay. The cool thing with this short caption is we can actually schedule it to run at a later date. Okay. So let's have this run, I don't know, 30 minutes from now, and then it'll run. Let's have it tweet, Twitter. All right. So our tweet's going to be create a short social media post caption, and then we can just, link to our imaginary blog. Okay. So just to recap what I'm doing here is, let's see here, and let's require approval. So what we're doing now is we've extended this package to, after it's posted this to WordPress, it's going to create a short social media caption. Okay. It's going to use the title and the article to create a short social media caption. And then it's going to schedule a tweet to go out about this new article that it's written. Then it's going to schedule that post to go out 30 minutes after we run this package. And it's going to require approval. So we're going to get to read what it writes before it gets posted to Twitter. Okay. And if we don't like it, it doesn't go. Okay. So if we don't approve it, it'll never make it to Twitter. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this package. Let's see. I have to upload CSV again. Let me see how this looks. All right. So this is going to create 2 articles. And then, all right. So let's check if it created our articles. It did. And let's check if it, all right. So these are the 2 the 2 social media captions for the 2 posts that were in the spreadsheet, if that makes sense. And again, I don't like these tweets that it came up with. So yeah, you can make them better by tweaking the prompt. Okay. But this is how I would extend the package to post, social media posts on, Twitter, if that makes sense. But yeah, recap, just, we've got our LLM node that will take the article and the title, turn it into a caption. And I don't like emojis, so without emojis, and then add it to the calendar. So that it'll automatically, so this package now is pretty cool because it automatically, from just a CSV, will create blog posts, push them to WordPress, and then also you can schedule tweets to go out after those posts are written. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is where AI assistants would come in really handy, especially to make those caption posts so much better. Yeah, especially if you've got an assistant in OpenAI that you've really dialed down and just gives you exactly what you want. Yeah, we can get a note in here that you pass whatever the assistant is, like its ID or whatever. And yeah, it says, why do I have to hide my face behind the mic? It's, I don't have a lot of space on my desk. This is the only place I can mount it, unfortunately. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? I think we've got about 15 minutes. Yeah. So I'll just talk about, I guess, the future that I see for packages and AI in general. So yeah, this is sort of the way that I envision packages being used, right? You want to do things in bulk. Okay, I think people, especially with ChatGPT, I think people are very accustomed to like logging into sort of ChatGPT or any of these chat-based AI tools, asking for what you want, getting it back, and then continuing work. I think there's an opportunity to do things in bulk, right? Especially if you've mastered prompts, right? And you know how to really get what you want out of ChatGPT or Claude or any of these other AI models. The next step is to plan your day in advance and have a bunch of things running, whether it's via CSV and planning it out that way, or using a playbook to plan your day, like this LinkedIn playbook where I fill your calendar up with LinkedIn stuff. So that's I think is the next step in AI is agents. They're calling them agents, but they're really just things that run at a defined schedule. And I think that's the next step. Okay, so Tom asks, what do you mean by AI assistants would make the post better? Do you mean another level of AI to analyze the output from OpenAI? So I think, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but OpenAI assistants, I haven't used them, but I've read the documentation. I understand what they are. It seems like AI assistants are just really dialed in, like a version of ChatGPT, which is trained on. It can be trained on anything. You can add anything to it. You can, drive its direction. So if you've come up with an assistant that is really good at doing a certain task, and in this instance, it would be making social media posts the way you want to. If you've created an OpenAI assistant that does that, you could use that AI assistant here, and instead of wrangling with prompts and being hoping and praying that it comes out the way you want. Exactly, yeah. So OpenAI assistants are supercharged in brand specific AI, yeah. So again, you can dial it in with the OpenAI interface, and then you can just use it in packages, and you wouldn't have to like wrestle with the prompt and get it to do exactly what you want to do. You can get it to do what you want to do in the OpenAI interface, and then just use it in packages. All right, Pedro has a question. In packages, are we able to take a screenshot of the area we want clicked and then upload that screenshot to one of the steps and have packages recognize the screenshot and click on that step? So I think your question is more geared toward the browser node. So to answer your question, yeah, that's not how the browser node works currently. So OpenAI is going to be coming out with this thing called Operator, which, I mean, it's already available now, but they've got a huge team, and I think they really are working towards making it super easy to work with browsers, right? So if you think about the ease of use with ChatGPT, where you just kind of type things and it gives you what you ask for, like I think we will get there with browsers, if not this year, next year. And when that happens, yeah, you'll be able to say, you can do it in packages now. It's just not really, it's in beta now, and it's not really that great right now. But so yeah, you wouldn't do it via screenshot. You would do it, you would use text. You would do describe, like click the blue button in the top right, and it would know what to do. So yeah, to answer your question, not possible right now, but in the future, it would be, you would describe that thing that you want clicked and it would do it. All right. Let's see here. Carlos wants to connect with co-working cooperative. That's there. Okay. Cool. So yeah, the other thing that I'll say too is, and I'll probably dig more into this as more playbooks come out, and I generate my content strategy for packages. But let's see here. There's really, when you think about AI, right? Because I think with packages, it's one of the pushback that I get, or the feedback that I get, is packages is hard to use. Okay. And yes, there is a learning curve. Okay. Especially if you want to do something crazy, right? There is a learning curve, but a lot of what's happening inside of a package is what a lot of these AR tools are doing behind the scenes, right? So this just gives you the power to create an AI tool, right? So I like to think of AI tools, good AI tools, as tools that either do one or two things. They're gonna, especially if you have a business, you want an AI tool that that helps you retain customers or helps you acquire customers, right? So when I think of the playbooks that I want to make, I think of things that will help businesses get customers or keep customers, right? So it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I know that packages has a learning curve, right? But I think with things like playbooks, playbooks are just, you're not really digging into the package and editing a package, you're just hitting play, right? So a lot of people, I mean, they're seeing a lot of success with the LinkedIn playbook, but I think as far as like today's life goes, WordPress and blog post content, right? That is definitely a way to acquire customers, which is why I love focusing on any package that involves WordPress, because, or posting content, because that is definitely a way to acquire customers. But I think are a lot of people here, into SEO or into writing content, have a WordPress blog that they want to add content to? I'm curious. Let's see what we've got here. Okay. Yeah. So we've got this. The best way to learn packages is to clone the simpler packages and really dive into it. Can voice AI be integrated? Yes. Voice AI can be integrated. Let me just make a quick voice AI. This is a test of voice in packages. Okay. So one of the things that I like to think about when I'm thinking about, like, okay, I'm going to make a new package. Because here's the thing, even for me, the person who made this whole thing, a really good package takes time to make. Okay. And you have to really think through all the different steps you want to do. So can voice AI be integrated? Yes, it can. The question is, what do you want to do with voices, right? Like, because the sky is the limit as far as like what you want to do. So there's an AI audio node, and it does let you add text and convert that text to speech. Okay. But the question is, what do you want to do with that voice? Yeah, I mean, I could say, I can make this say, hello, everybody. Okay. Create audio. All right. So this will create that audio. But then it becomes a question of, what do you want to do with that audio? And there's a lot of different things you could do with that. But yeah, it supports audio.
Hello, everybody.
All right. Yeah. So that does work. But yeah, yeah, Tom. Hey, what's going on, Tom? He says, yes, I'm using packages with WordPress. So yeah, uh, so yeah, on that tangent of you know, a good AI tool either helps you get customers or keep customers. WordPress content generation is one piece of that puzzle, right? I think everybody knows the value of writing content and getting traffic via that content, but the other side, which is like maintaining customers or keeping your customers, that that part of the equation isn't always content, right? And I think that's where AI is now. Everyone's like, I got to create content, got to create. You've got the video generators, the text, like super create a bunch of blog posts like those. I think people understand the value of that, but then there becomes the maintaining customers part, which video isn't going to always do that, and neither is content. And so a lot of that, especially in the world of WordPress, is management. And I think if you have a lot of WordPress sites that need the same thing to happen, you can use packages to maintain those sites, right? So you can do a bunch of updates, using the browser node, which I can show a quick example of that. But yeah, we've got about 6 minutes left. I think I can show CSV to manage WordPress. I can show a quick example of that. So let's go CSV to manage WordPress. So first step is going to be input text CSV, upload CSV. Okay. And this is just an example. I won't go full blown into it, but let's say you had let's say you manage 5 WordPress sites, right? And you have to do like a bunch of work to all of them. If you had a CSV file, okay. Let's go here. So if you had a CSV file, and in each of those CSV files you had a WordPress domain, right? You can make a package that goes to each of those WordPress sites individually and performs the same task on them, okay? So let's make another spreadsheet, and we'll call this one WordPress sites, okay? And we'll just add this one as a URL. All right. So what you could do then is you could go to, let's see here, let's add a JSON key. All right, so what you could do here is you could go to the site, you can go to each site, and then go to the admin panel, and then you could basically outline all the steps that needs to be taken in order for each of those sites. Okay, so if you got 5 sites, 100 sites, you can do the same thing to them with packages instead of like manually going in and doing that work, and that can save you a lot of time. So let's see here. Let me see. I'm not gonna fully create this package, but this is just to show you what packages is good at. It's not just creating content or stuff like that. Like there's going to be AI is going to do a lot of work, a lot of the manual work. You just need to define it in the beginning, and then it'll take care of all that. And CSVs are a great way to define where you want that work to start, if that makes sense. All right. So Carlos says, what about voice AI for automating phone calls with VAI API or retail? Yeah, so that is something that I want to also look into, because this layout, this diagram layout is really good for flows like voice AI flows. Even we don't support like calls yet, but I know there's things like Twilio where you can define like if this happens, do this, or you can create like a tree, right? So yeah, I think there'll be a day where I would add support for voice AI, and you can create these diagrams for that. But right now, we don't support like voice automated calls right now. Let's see. Hans says, I have a large sheet with events based on what I now might update a number of Google calendars for different groups. First, I would ask how many rows does the sheet have? And then, yeah, so you're updating Google calendars based on the sheet data. That's what it sounds like. What kind of updates are you making? I would ask. Because, I mean, yeah, this can handle it, but yeah, it becomes a question of how will the update take place? Will it take place via an API call, which packages can do? Or will it take place via using the browser node, which packages can also do? It's just deciding how you want those updates to happen. Philip says, thank you for the new input. Need to leave. But yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, so let me just wrap up this package real quick, just so you can see how using a CSV and the browser node can really speed up your productivity. Let's see here. Let me download this spreadsheet. Let's download this. All right. So yeah, 150 rows. 150 rows isn't crazy. But yeah, if you're the owner of that event, then it shouldn't be too bad to do it in the browser node. But ideally you would use the API because that's a lot faster and a lot more reliable. Okay, so what's the limit of the browser node? So the browser node, you could not do 200 simultaneously. That's just to prevent you from making any mistakes. But the way you could do, so this is concurrency. The way you can run multiple browser nodes at the same time would be, you can either schedule them on your calendar, or you can do something fancy, like you can maybe have, like you could have something like this where you have 2 browser nodes and then you have 2 CSVs. But the easiest way, there's a lot of ways to do it. The easiest way is to schedule them on your calendar. That's the best way to do it. Educa Digital TV says, can you show us the best practice on how to not spend our credits quickly while testing our packages? Okay, so as far as credit consumption goes, and let me finish this real quick just to make sure that it at least goes to the admin screen, is let's see here. All right, so best practices as far as not spending your packages quickly. I mean, your credits. So the first thing is I would direct you to the things that consume credits on the docs page. Okay. So images, there's no way around image, avoiding images. LLMs, like, that's another thing. I would say that if you want to not consume credits while you create your package. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so why did that fail? Oh, I know why. It's because this is blank. All right, so yeah. Save credits. Okay, so this is the credits table. This is where you understand, you can see what uses credits. So if you're in the middle of testing a package, right, and sometimes packages can take a while to build, even for me, the thing you want to do, especially if you're doing things that consume credits, the browser consumes a lot of credits. You're going to want to use the bypass node. Okay, bypass node feature. What this does is it says, okay, this part, like, it's using credits, so, or it takes long and I don't want to do it. It's pretty solid, this node. So I'm just going to run this without running that node, right? So this will successfully complete immediately because it bypassed the browser node. Okay. So if you want to save credits while you're testing a package, the bypass node is the way to do that. And you can do that on any node. Okay. So if you have, for instance, the LLM node, which also consumes credits, if you have this prompt, right? My demo prompt, this will consume credits every time you run it. Okay. But if you don't want it to consume credits, you can just turn on bypass and it'll continue to run successfully, but it won't process this node, so you won't consume credits, if that makes sense. But this doesn't work in every case. For instance, like, you might have a package where you're building it and it needs this to be the value that it ends up being, so bypassing it won't help you. But yeah, just use the bypass node to save credits and also make your package faster while you're building or debugging, so that you don't consume credits, if that makes sense. Hope that helps. All right, so I think time is up here. Does anyone have any last questions before we go? Let's see here. So this package, which is the main package that this live was about, is public and clonable, so you can tweak it to your liking. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I did add that, I think, yes, on Friday. Yeah, so that went out. The bypass step inside of the browser node. Yeah. So a credit is a run. No, a credit is not equal to a run. A credit is these things consume credits. Okay, runs. A run is just basically you running a package and getting an end result. And in that run, you can consume many credits, or you can consume no credits. You could have a package that is really simple and doesn't have the browser node, or doesn't have LLM nodes, and it will consume 0 credits. So a run, you can just think of a run as like an execution. So like, you ran something, it did this work, and this work either ended up costing 0 credits or 7 credits or 1 credit. We can look at the runs here, and we can see how many credits were consumed. So during this live, we ran CSV to WordPress quite a number of times, and it didn't consume any credits because there was no browser node. There was an LLM node, but I passed in my OpenAI key, so it didn't consume any credits. But then we had this run, which consumed 20 credits. And why did it consume 20 credits? Because each image was 10 credits. Okay, so we had 2 images, and that ended up being 20 credits. Then we go back to no credits, and then the voice AI used 1 credit because yeah, generating AI voices takes a credit. So I hope that makes sense. So these are all the runs, and these are the credits that were consumed during each run. Yeah. All right. So I think that will be it for today. Yeah. So just to let you guys know, there'll be more lives. I'm working on playbooks, so there'll be more playbooks, and I love the playbooks because they're just an easier way to take advantage of packages. So I do want Facebook playbooks. I'm working on the Amazon one, which is taking a little bit longer. But playbooks for everything is what I want to achieve, and then also lives for the people that want to learn how to build packages. Because yeah, I think a lot of people do want to build their own packages, but there's that learning curve. So hopefully, this this live helped you with CSVs at least. But yeah, that's it. We're finished. If you have any questions, ask them in the Facebook group or the Discord. Now we got a Discord. But yeah, have a good weekend, everyone. That's the end of the live. Until next time.